Welcome to Dear Husband, Dear Wife with Danny and Jenny Fuentes, a podcast about dating, marriage, and sex, where we break it down, keep it real, and unashamedly go there. Our goal is to foster a space that welcomes you to have conversations with us regarding these topics. And since we believe in seeking the truth about these topics, we guarantee to keep a biblical perspective in all things related. So go ahead and grab your favorite drink and or put those earbuds because it's about to get real.
Konnichiwa!
What is up? Welcome
Hello.
back.
Hello. And hello. Welcome to another podcast episode of Dear Husband, Dear Wife. My name is Danny.
And I am Jenny.
And this is Dear Husband, Dear Wife.
Yes. With Danny and Jenny Fuentes.
Yes.
Well, we apologize. I mean, the truth of the matter is life happens.
Yeah, guys.
And we are not tied to our podcast.
Yes, at least right now.
That's true. I mean, the truth of the matter is we're human beings.
We have jobs.
We have jobs.
We come home and we're exhausted.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So take it easy.
Setting clear boundaries is really good.
Simmer down, sea biscuit.
You know, I think we got to break this whole expectation.
Yeah, guys. I got a lot of expectations, but you don't see me crying about it. I'm just kidding.
No. But I think we just wanted to say thank you for sticking around with us. We really appreciate it.
We're grateful. We're thankful for those of you that stick around, even when we're not as efficient as we should be. We're grateful.
Yes, so thank you. Well, we are back, and as promised, we are going to continue the conversation. Left off with the question in our last episode. So if you didn't hear it in singleness, we totally want to encourage you to listen to it. But the question was that Danny asked was, what does godly dating look like nowadays?
Yeah.
Like, what does it look like to date in a healthy manner? So we are going to give you what we think is but it is what we believe are some things of what healthy dating should look like. But again, this is our personal opinion, and everyone's entitled to their personal opinion. And you can agree or disagree with us, and that's perfectly fine. We're not here to tell you that this is the way you should do it, but we're just here to share our thoughts.
Yes.
Because we've walked through it, and we've walked some people through it, and we've talked about it with a lot of couples, and a lot of young adults too. So you can take what best suits you, and you can totally leave what you think is not beneficial for you.
Yes.
All right. So let's hit it off, babe. Tell us, what do you think? Since you posed the question, what do you think good godly dating should look like nowadays?
I have no idea. That's why I asked the question. But I think obviously godly dating, there's some definite boundaries. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to be vulnerable, and you don't want to put the other person in a position where they're going to be vulnerable. Obviously you want to make sure that, that the sole purpose of dating is to get to know the person. It's clear that we live in a world where everything is done the opposite. I remember years ago, I heard this preacher say how the world kind of does everything backwards, where first they get married, first they have kids, then they get married, then they date, and then they become friends. And, and I really found that interesting. I was like, whoa, that's kind of true. Like, it's, definitely that type of approach, and that's obviously not what God intends in a godly relationship. He made us each individually unique, where there's no, version 2 or, copy and paste of ourselves. It's just, we are unique. And so we have to keep reminding ourselves that the opposite sex is beautifully and wonderfully made in God's image. And so we have to, keep that in mind. I think when it comes to dating, to so that we don't forget that we are basically, you know, trying to land one of God's most beautiful children. So,
Appreciate what you just said. I do have to ask, though, in my opinion, now, Danny, you may disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But in my opinion, you said not to be vulnerable. I think there.
well, no, I
there
said
comes a moment.
don't put yourself in positions that you're going to be vulnerable. But I meant like physically.
Got it.
I didn't-
just
yeah.
Be very clear.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Physically, don't put yourself in vulnerable positions physically.
Where, in other words, you're going to give into sex or
Yes,
start doing
yeah.
things what you're supposed to be doing. You're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because
Yeah.
again, you know, it's not wrong. Sex is obviously not bad. It's something that, you know, the Lord left for us to experience through love, but obviously that's, you know, that is not portrayed the same in this world.
Yeah. In other words, sex was created. We believe that sex was created to be shared intimately with a man and a woman in marriage.
Yes.
Let's just give it straight to what it is. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Right.
So yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I personally want to say dating, casual, good, healthy dating looks like taking your time and not rushing it and looking for someone who will compliment you versus what do you ideally think this person is going to be like. So what I mean by that is taking your time to build a friendship and to really get to know the individual. I think there's so much pressure in having to put a label nowadays when you go out on dating. It's like the pressure to be like your boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Or we're an item. There's so much pressure to put that label. And I think one of the healthiest things that young adults and or even single older women and men in their, you know, late 20s and 30s or even in their 40s, what they can do is really establish good friendship first. Get to know the person, get to know the individual, get to see them around other people and how they interact around those individuals, get to see them, how they act around you, get to see them in different environments and just pay attention to their behavior and their attitude and their expressions and their words. And if that person fits your, I guess, your ideals of what it would look like and complements your values, then go for it. You know, then you can start talking about labels. Then you can start talking about what it would look like to probably create a future with this individual. Now, you might be asking, but what if you get stuck in the friend zone? Well, if you get stuck in the friend zone, then it wasn't meant to be. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you can't fight that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the friend zone definitely sucks. But, I mean, again, it's, you know, I think today I can understand why a lot of people who are single feel like a great sense of pressure to find someone, or, you know, they might have thoughts of, oh, you know, whatever, my parents got married when they were in their 20s. I'm, you know, pushing 36 and I still haven't even, you know, found anyone, or I'm not even dating anybody. You know, there's so much pressure, and I just want to share with everyone out there, anyone who's single, there is no need to feel pressured. I firmly believe that when you find your special someone, it all just happens in its right time. I don't feel like God is, in a sense, you know, pushing anyone to be at a certain level in life because of whatever age you're in right now. You know, I feel like everything that we're going through as individuals, you know, happens for a purpose, and there's a reason for it. You know, there's a learning experience in everything that we do. And so I feel like, yeah, when it comes to dating, it should only be something that's, you know, that should be, exciting. You get to know someone, and you find out more about them and what they like and what they don't like. And I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody's really perfect. Jenny and I are turning 10 years in May. Until this day, there are things about Jenny that I just don't like. I really don't like them.
Vice versa.
But yeah, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, she's her own person, and I have absolutely no right to change that because I don't like it. It is who she is. If she feels that she needs to change that, then I'll support. But if not, then okay. I mean, again, I didn't marry her with any conditions. I married her because I was in love and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, even though I knew that there were going to be moments where she was just going to flat out upset me and bother me. And again, that's just life. That's part of being married. When it comes to dating or getting to know someone, you're not going to find absolutely everything and say, oh, I love everything about this person. Or, I mean, maybe you will in the beginning, but as time goes by, you'll probably start to see things where you're like, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
But again, dating is, I mean, that's the whole point. Like, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So
I really want to emphasize what Danny said, not to rush the process. I think sometimes we think and believe that God operates in our timeline. That's a joke on you. Because God doesn't operate in a timeline. I mean, to God, one day is 1,000 days, right? 10,000.
yeah,
1,000 days,
1,000 days.
Yeah, so it's like, God does not, under any circumstances, operate in a timeline, and He's in no rush to try to get you married. Like, I think that's so important to say. Like, God is in no rush to get you married. I think, if anything, God is in the business of healing you and preparing you and fulfilling your calling. And your sense of purpose is not found in your marriage. Your sense of purpose is found in God and in who He has created you to be as an individual. The second thing that I wanted to point out that Danny kind of tapped on and really appreciate that is that he said it. He didn't marry me for my conditions or what I would, bring to the table, but because He really loved me despite my imperfections. And that is the beauty of dating, is like when you get to know the person, you start feeling attracted. And I do believe that opposites do attract. Like, I really, really do. We've seen it in so many couples. But there are things that you are going to complement and bring to the table when it comes to this individual that you're interested in. And that, vice versa, the individual will bring to the table that you may not even realize, but it complements you. So, there's definitely those things that you want to take into consideration as you start dating. Like, don't rush the process. Get to know each other, and really look at each other's values and attributes, and what you can bring to each other. Another thing that I wanted to say is, I mean, for me, godly dating looks like not just taking your time and not just getting to know the person, but also being in community and not stop living. Because some people, they just become so obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
And that's so unhealthy.
Yeah, it's really unhealthy. I mean, we've definitely experienced, some young people in our lives that have taken that type of dating to the extreme where it's just about that person and that person and that person. And, everything that they do is with that person, and kind of gets to a point where, they almost can't find themselves without that person anymore.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult. I mean, again, there has to be a balance. I think when it comes to dating, there just has to be a balance in everything. Again, it doesn't mean that, oh man, if I don't show any interest, then who knows, maybe they're going to find someone else. Like that's not the case, and we shouldn't see it that way. I mean, again, I think in this journey of dating, or at least, godly dating, if I had to put a name on it, it's just a process where we have the opportunity to know that person on a different level, without the pressure of trying to, have something by a certain time, without the pressure of being at a certain point, a certain stage in your life. Again, the Lord doesn't do anything in a rush. Everything that he's done up until now, and everything that he continues to do, he takes his time, because the truth is, good things take time. Anything good takes time.
That's so good.
If you, if you continue to practice in your profession, you'll get better as time goes by. But I mean, again, there just has to be a balance. There has to be a definite balance when it comes to dating. I mean, I think the most important thing in dating is just getting to know the person, and just allowing the Lord to establish not just you, but that other person as an individual as well.
Yeah, I think that should be that should be a good sign. If you're dating and it just gets better in time, like you guys seem to be connecting better and enjoying each other's company better. That's a good sign. I mean, that's a great sign. Like, I think dating should get better.
Yes.
As time goes by.
Yes.
With that one person, and then you can start talking about what is probably the next step that you guys want to take and whatnot. But if it doesn't get better in time, then just drop that sucker and move on.
just drop them, ghost them, don't call them, don't text them, erase them from your phone.
That's not what we're
If they approach you, just run the other way. Don't even look. Just run.
No, of course not. But
obviously, no, don't do that.
Just make it very clear that you just want to either A, be a friend, or C, or B, I mean, I don't know, whatever rocks your boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, dating's always going to be different for everybody. These are just our thoughts, on what we've learned. And just, something that we want to just be able to share with you all, any of you who are single. So yeah, don't feel like you have to make it look like the way we are describing it.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to definitely allow the Lord to be in control,
Yeah, setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you ask God first what he thinks you should do on a date, or if you're dating, whatever it is that he tells you, chances are it's going to be infinite times better than whatever it is we ever say.
But Danny, how do I know what God is telling me?
It's a good question, man. I don't know.
One of the things that we would say is, this is not like a spiritual formation podcast, but I would say just start reading God's word.
Yeah.
Start sitting in silence and listening to that little tiny voice that you sometimes hear, that sometimes you try to ignore because it's telling you to do the good thing, but you want to do the bad thing. Yeah, that voice. Yeah, that's probably Holy Spirit speaking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess, if anything, there's one more thing that I would say would good, healthy dating looks like. Again, we've said it takes time. There's boundaries. You don't rush. You don't try to make something happen. But the other thing I think is it's setting expectations and being very clear from the beginning when you go on that date.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like, it's really good to just say, hey, I'm dating, or, we're on a date. What are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. What are you looking for in a person? Because sometimes what happens is, like, no one really sets the expectations.
That's true.
And then they start dating.
Kind of just goes into a limbo.
Yeah. So setting those expectations and being very honest from the get-go with the individual.
Yeah. She brings up a good point, too. I think when it comes to, dating also, it is good. It's good to have, specific expectations. I don't think they're bad. I mean, obviously, you can determine yourself if the other person, feels like maybe your expectations are a bit too high. And trust me, I've met people where it's like, whoa, well, good luck, finding that person. And then there are others where it's like, you know what, like you should probably, raise your expectations a little more. You're definitely, someone that God finds interesting. So if God finds you interesting, then hey, you deserve to, to have your expectations raised a bit. But I think in overall, it's definitely good to have, clear expectations on what it is you're looking for. I mean,
yeah,
without us trying, without having those expectations, it is very easy to fall into kind of like this groove where you're just dating, but both parties probably don't even know if it's going anywhere.
True.
So don't be afraid. If you're the kind of person where it's like, you know what, I'm not even going to date that much. I'm just like, I'm the type of guy that I'm looking to get married. Like that's the goal. Hey, power to you. There's nothing wrong with that.
And make that very clear.
Make it very clear like that. You're going to know if that other person is in it for the long run, or if she's just in it to see where it's going, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the same to you young single ladies out there, make it very clear. Don't be shy in putting that, expectation out there, because the truth is, again, I personally feel, and I'm not trying to make it sound bad, but I really feel that, as much as I hate to say this, women tend to lose a lot more than men do.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you women who are single, don't be afraid. Have those expectations. If you know what you're looking for and you know what you want, I promise you, once you make that very clear, you're going to see for yourself who's in it to like really go the long distance and who's there just to try and mess around.
Yeah.
And so
booty.
it'll cut the, that will definitely cut the weeds out. So
yeah, you don't want just some. You don't want to give.
You don't want to be a booty call, girl.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't want to be a booty call, girl.
Yep, that's it. You don't want to do that. You don't put you in a position like that. So yeah. I think clear expectations, making them very clear from the get go is very important in the dating scene. Because there's a lot of people that I've known who I've spoken to that, unfortunately, 4 or 5 dates in, and they realize either all they want is a sexual interaction, or B, they just want company but never to commit.
Yeah, it's interesting how there are so many people that literally live lives like married couples do. And the one factor that these relationships and these couples don't have is commitment.
Yep.
I personally don't understand why that is. I just assume that they're probably afraid and they feel like when crap hits the fan, it's their way to get out.
Yep.
But I don't know.
I know.
That's
interesting. That's actually a really great observation.
Yeah, that's a different story. I don't understand why guys or girls are afraid of commitment.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And you're right. It's not just men nowadays. It's also girls. Like, they just won't commit.
Well, that's a new breed I've yet to learn about.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's nowadays people just move in and without the expectation of committing, or they're constantly just giving each other the booty and
giving each other the booty.
And just giving booty to one another, and that's about it.
Oh, dang. That's an image. Sorry, guys, that's an image.
No, but it's true. Like, I think that's what it is. It's like, oh, I got what I needed. I got my fix, and that's it. But
Yeah,
you want someone to commit, man.
It sounds empty. It sounds pretty empty.
So true. It really does sound empty.
In retrospect, guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who the person is. You need to have the Lord as the center. Period.
Amen.
That's the only way that anything is going to work.
Amen.
That's the number one concept to life, period. Again, if you want to find that special someone, if you want that person to be the right one for you, then you have to allow the Lord to be your guide. And it's not easy, because obviously we want to get out there and do it our own way and see what comes out on the other side. But the truth is that when you let God just take control and just bless you the way he wants to, it's so much better. And it's just really worth it. You save yourself the hassle, you save yourself the pain, you save yourself the heartache. You avoid all the garbage that you would have if you did it on your own.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think that's the most important thing. Before you date, before you go out there and start committing, really get to know yourself and what the Lord wants of you. Get to know God. Invite him into your life, into your plans, into your dating scene. And just watch things run pretty smooth for you. I mean, not pretty smooth in the sense like, oh, everything's going to be great. But, God doesn't promise rainbows and flowers for everything and everyone while we're in this earth. But he does promise to walk with us, alongside us, in the pain and in the good and in the bad. And that's what you want, man. And really get to know yourself and get to know God before you step into dating. I think that's the most important, probably the first step you should do before you even start dating.
Yeah.
So remember, guys, this is just our opinions, but again, we're
these
just sharing
are
our
thoughts.
hearts. These are our thoughts, and
they're not set standards for
no
for life. This is just our experience and what we've learned.
Yeah. So in summary, good things take time. So get to know the person. Really set your boundaries very clear. Set really clear boundaries and non-negotiables. Make it very clear what you're looking for. Have fun. Don't put too much pressure. Get to know God first and get to know yourself first and what you really want before you even step into a relationship. Because sometimes what we do is we step into a relationship without knowing what we really want.
Yeah.
So just if you're not ready to date, don't feel the pressure to have to date.
Yeah.
Just enjoy your singleness.
Yeah.
Seriously. Cruise by, man. Travel the world. Do whatever it is that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And
your time will come, guys. That's the honest truth. Your time will come. And believe me, when that day comes and you are united with that special someone, that after that day, it'll be as if you were together for such a long time.
Yep. Is that how you feel about me, baby?
Yes. That's exactly how I feel.
All right, y'all. Well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day or night or evening, whatever it is. But we are here for you, and we are excited to continue to do this with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along.
Guys. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us, for taking the time to listen to this podcast of two crazy Hispanics. We love you guys, and
send us your questions.
Send us questions or thoughts, whatever you want.
All right.
And we'll catch you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. We really enjoyed hanging out with you. If you really enjoyed hanging out with us too, then we ask you for one simple favor. Go ahead and leave us a review and let us know how we did. We thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing you next week. Adios.